We need to just what, leave them on the street to suffer in the cold and rain? What
Yeah,
bunch of
well, we do have what they call homeless outreach program, where they have teams that go around and they'll go to homeless people and they say, listen, we want to get you off the street, but you cannot force them to get off the street. That's the problem. And like you stated, they do not want to get off the street. So then you're stuck in this vicious circle, and
right,
that means there's nothing you can do.
right. Hey, can I ask you another question that's kind of
Sure.
controversial? So what about the immigrants? People, is that we hear it on the radio, and I hear that that there's just tons and tons of people from who are crossing the borders, and they're ending up in New York City, and it's causing all kinds of problems. Do you
Oh,
see that?
sure. Yeah, of course. If you go into a great neighborhood, say like I live on Long Island, but there's another, borough. Staten Island is one of the five boroughs, and it's a lot of Italians, and it's a close knit neighborhood. They try to get these immigrants or migrants, whatever you want to call them, politically correct term, into this shelter, which was literally across the street, Rick, from an all-girl Catholic school. And the neighborhood was like, no way is this happening. And they rallied and rallied, and they were out in front for days, and they were making a lot of noise. And they changed the location. They did not allow those migrants to go into that facility.
Wow.
So
So
it has
that
to come down from something like that where you have outspoken people. In New York City, you're not going to get that because New York City is so big. So they could be put in these hotels where nobody even knows about it. There was a lot of nice, beautiful boutique hotels in the city, but after COVID, they closed because they were getting no business, and they turned a lot of those boutique hotels into these migrant places. But nobody knows that because nobody's living next door. Not like in Staten Island where this old girls' school was, and of course the parents realized what was going on and they stood up for it.
so you're a cop, a detective right now.
No, I'm retired now. I do private investigation work now.
Oh, okay. Do you like that?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
God, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because I get a bunch of cases, then I go and I solve the cases, and it's most of it's related to what I did when I was on the job, and it becomes very easy for me, and it's I have a lot of connections, so you need that when you do private investigation work because you're going into police precincts, you have to get copies of accidents reports, you're tracking down witnesses, you're doing surveillance work, so it's all stuff that I did while I was on the police force.
Yeah. So you're using your skills to help just private people now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think when you look at the state of the world coming up to 2024?
I don't want to get political, but I'm a pro-Trump guy, and I think he did a great job when he was in here. I think he, united basically a lot of these countries, and I think people were afraid to mess with the U.S. in a global, sense, and I think he did a great job. I think if we get him back in office, I think we'll be in a lot better place than we are now.
I was listening to a report today, and they said that the average American is is spending $12,000 a year more on basics like food, toilet paper, that kind of thing, than they did when Mr. Trump was president his last year. And that just makes you go, because I mean, sometimes I'm almost retired. I could retire in, I could retire sooner, but it's kind of watching my 401k go down the toilet. But you see, that the bills that my wife, and it's just my wife and me, our kids are older. But you see stuff and you're going, how come everything is so expensive? And it is amazing to me that people aren't more in an uproar over it. Not anti-Biden or anti-Trump. I'm just saying, what is going on in America when people can't even afford, the basics? This is pretty bad.
Yeah, Rick, I have lunch every day in the city, and I could get lunch for $5, $6. Now you can't get lunch for less than $15. I'm talking about a simple lunch. I'm not going out to a restaurant here. I'm going to say a Chipotle where you're getting chicken and rice, and it's costing you $15.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. It's not acceptable, and I don't know how people I'm sure are in uproar, but what are you going to do about it? I guess the only way you can make a change is by voting the way you want it to go. And let me put it this way: when Trump was in office, and I'm not trying to push Trump here, but gas was $1.99. What is it now? I mean, that's all you need to know.
Mine just, it's funny, I'm in Montana,